I think I'm discovering like it literally is less work to just depend on him, seek him first. And like it's like the path starts to light up, It's like rather than you even having to figure out what's next and what you're supposed to do and who you're supposed to reach out to and what deal is a good deal versus a bad deal, like just seek him.
Hello and welcome to Game Day Grace, the podcast where sports and faith unite in powerful conversations. I am David Schiele, one of the co-hosts of this podcast. No Cory Mose today. It's all good. All blessings to him and his family. Thank you so much for making Game Day Grace a part of your day wherever you are listening or watching right now. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, our official Facebook page. Don't be afraid to follow us on TikTok as well. I know some of y'all are a little bit older and y'all like, I ain't getting on that TikTok. We on TikTok, all right? If you want to follow us on there, you can follow me, you can follow Cory, you can follow Game Day Grace itself on that platform. And hit subscribe, hit follow, and share this with a family member or a friend because one share can change a life. I am joined today by somebody who I used to cover. This is the first time I've had somebody on this platform that I actually used to make reports on. She played for the Lady Vols while I was in Knoxville as a reporter for WBIR. This is Keyen Green, who not only was a star on the court, but off the court, all academic team. I think you played a big part. What was the name of it? Was it the Black Athlete Council? What was the name of it at Tennessee?
What was that conference called? There was a like a Black Student Athlete Conference that I was selected to go to for sure. I don't know that it was like a Tennessee thing. Yeah, it was like a NCAA.
The Black Student. The Black Student Athlete Summit.
Yes, that's what it was called.
That's what it was.
Yeah, like in 2022, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, you were highly involved, 100%.
Yeah.
So honored to have you on here today.
Thank you.
I got to be transparent with the crowd, okay? Yes, I'm wearing a Georgia hoodie, okay? I'm wearing a Georgia hoodie. If I turn this hat around, it would say Georgia National Champions on the front. So I'm a Georgia fan.
We'll let that
we all
slide.
know this. The only exceptions I make in the SEC: Lady Vol basketball, Lady Vol softball. That's it.
Those are two great teams to make exceptions for sure. Of all the Tennessee teams, absolutely.
The two teams I rock with on that campus, they treated me better than any other team on that campus. I will always cheer for them. Shout out to Coach Harper. She signed a shirt for me when I left. And then softball, shout out to Coach Keyen Green because she signed the ball for me as I did my last interview. That was my very last assignment. Did something on softball. Yep. She signed something. So did Coach Ralph. And then that was it. I was out of Knoxville, down in Tampa. You're actually in Orlando right now.
Yes.
You're working in real estate. So how's that going?
Oh, it's going great. We love it. My fiance Kingston actually is from Orlando, and funnily enough, my family actually lives in Orlando now. So we are all kind of Florida based at this point, but we started our real estate business in Tennessee. So that's going to keep going. But we definitely wanted to branch out to Florida just because there's so many connections here and there's business to be done. So we want to be a resource, especially to our athlete community that's, learning how to invest in real estate. And have a hand in just kind of teaching and helping educate them in that way.
I love it. I love that mission so much. And we'll definitely get back to that.
Yeah.
I mentioned Coach Harper, and I want to round it back to that just real quickly.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to know a couple things. Number one, how you felt about how everything went with her dismissal from Tennessee. And two, just from afar, watching every player leave the Lady Vol program to where there was not a single person on the roster for like a week or so.
Yeah, I mean, both of those situations were wild. I think with Coach Kelly's leaving Tennessee, I mean, it's crazy to me because I came from a mid-major program. I came from Liberty University, so the standards are just completely different in the SEC and particularly at Tennessee with the history that we have, especially women's basketball. So at any other program, her record is stellar. It's cause for promotion. But unfortunately, at Tennessee, the bar is higher. And she knows that, and I think she understands. But I think it was unfortunate just kind of the way it went down because realistically, at any other school, it's a celebrated success, what she's done. So, I mean, I love her. You'd love the family, still close with them, still talk to them. So, and she's killing it at Mizzou too. So I'm glad that she's at a program that will really appreciate what she brings to it. And then in terms of the turnaround this past year, honestly, I feel like it had kind of been brewing per se. I'm not necessarily as close to the program as I used to be with, traveling and doing real estate and everything. But I mean, the game has changed these days, with NIL being involved, the game has completely changed, priorities have changed. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing because realistically, if I was playing in the time where I could make double my parents' salary just for playing basketball, then I'm absolutely going to take the opportunities to do that. So I don't think it's a bad thing, but it is just an adjustment. It's a pivot that schools are going to have to make, that players are going to have to make for their best interests. But I do think it kind of wiped the slate clean for the coaching staff now for Tennessee to be able to go ahead and build the team that they want to build and not necessarily just chasing after five-star recruits, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. For me, it baffled me that
It was wild.
this is a historic program in basketball, not just women's basketball,
Yeah.
basketball period.
Yeah.
You're telling me there are no players? Like I was beside myself. There's no way.
It was definitely crazy, but I mean, we had faith in the staff and in the new staff that kind of came in. Just kind of hearing different rumblings about what the plan was moving forward, and Danny White knows what he's doing at the end of the day. As much as the fan base wants to talk about what he does or doesn't do, he knows what he's doing. He's a vet at this, so. I feel like if he has faith that things are going to work out, then we should also, because at the end of the day, he's leading the program.
Speaking of faith, obviously you started at Liberty. I think you went to a Christian high school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So for you, how much did faith play a role in your career?
Yeah. I mean, it's played a role in my life, my entire life. Yeah, my family, extended family, like everybody are believers. So we grew up in the church and really like all going to the same church. So, and then I went to middle and high school with my cousins at Philmont Christian Academy. So we were all getting that same education too. And then I also went to Liberty University, which is the largest Christian university in the world. So, it was very much ingrained. But I do think, and I mean, take this however you may, I do think that at some point it just became routine rather than relationship. And so, especially being just immersed and surrounded by faith and by, Bible studies and Bible verses and prayer and all of the things, I feel like it became routine at some point rather than relationship. So I think when I got to Tennessee and really on the back half of my career, due to all of my injuries, it kind of forced me to shake back and prioritize the relationship part of it, and realize that I can't do this on my own. I have never been able to do this on my own as much as it might have felt like, I was Superwoman with all of the accolades and the success in basketball. I think I kind of lost sight of that. But, the Lord has a way of shaking you right back. Like, don't forget who's done all of this. I got to really just make it my own and discover what this relationship meant for me in my life.
I've said this before. God's not interested in our performance, right? He wants a relationship.
Yeah.
So he wants to be personable with you. He's not interested in how you I get up every day at 3 a.m. and I spend an hour in the Word, and it's like, are you just reading to read, or are you know what I mean? Like, what does a relationship look like? Right. Exactly. Are you actually seeking the kingdom of God and His righteousness instead of just like, all right, I checked this off the list for today.
Absolutely.
That kind of thing. For you kind of brought it up, the injury. I remember because I covered it. I was sitting there watching. And so for me, just in the sports part of it, you're devastated because you've already been through injuries before.
Yeah.
I think there was a season, I think you missed the season with an injury at Liberty.
Yep.
And so for there to be another injury now at Tennessee, what was going through your mind as soon as it happened? Because I low-key feel like you knew what had happened when it happened.
Yeah.
But what went through your mind as soon as it happened, and then how do you think your faith grew throughout that time?
Yeah, I think immediately what went through my mind was just, like you said, devastation. I transferred to Tennessee to play in the SEC, to play against the best of the best competition, and I made it 3 or 4 games into the season before that first injury. So I think it was mainly just disappointment, devastation at the fact that I couldn't do what I came here to do. Um, in hindsight, like I said, and I really feel like the Lord was just trying to get my attention. And he had to he had to take something. He had to take away the thing that I was focusing on the most so that I could make him the thing I focused on the most. And I can't even say honestly that I did that immediately. But in hindsight, like just looking back at it, I think that that's really all that was going on, was that he was just trying to get my attention. Because you can get lost in this world of athletics. Like it's there's people calling your name, there's people, wanting autographs, there's people stopping us at the grocery store. Like you can really get lost and think that it was you somehow that got you to this point. And so I really think that he needed to get my attention before, I really messed up in a major way, on a public stage. So I think that the injury was his way of doing that. Not that I can, tell really if that's what he was trying to do, but I think that's what it resulted in over time, is just kind of dwelling on, how did I get here? Who is to thank for this? And it really just brought me back to, this is what it was always supposed to be. It was always supposed to be playing for his glory, never for my glory. And I started taking a little bit too much glory from it, rather than giving it back to him.
Wow, that's deep.
Yeah.
Taking that glory upon yourself and not giving it to him. That's pretty
Which
serious.
is crazy because we can't even handle this glory. Like we literally, we will crumble under this glory. So, I mean, we're not built for glory. So I really do think that it was a reminder. Like I needed to. This is not for you. This is for me, him.
And to be honest, Knoxville has a way of making you feel like you somebody. Knoxville's really good at
Tell
that.
me about it. Yeah.
Like, first of all, I didn't play. Okay, I was on the news, y'all. I was not out there. I didn't score a single touchdown. I didn't have not one dunk, not one home run, nothing. I was just on the news talking about the people who did those things.
Yeah.
And they was calling my name in the grocery
Yeah.
store. My full government.
Seriously.
I'm like, how do you know this?
Absolutely. I saw you on TV. Yeah.
And it's crazy. I think there was one time, Coach, shout out to Coach Sam, who was an assistant
Love
for
Coach
you guys.
Sam. Yeah.
Coach Sam, she would have her TikTok Thursdays. I look up and her TikTok Thursday was me. I was like, what? Why am I the TikTok Thursday?
Yeah.
And she was showing a report that I had done on Coach Harper, and I'm like, what? And same thing. I'm thinking, oh, I'm up here.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm up.
Yeah.
And coming down to Tampa, higher market than Knoxville, so more people should be watching.
Yeah.
Nah, not one person that stopped me in the grocery store. I've not had anybody ask me for a selfie. And it definitely does humble you. Like, oh, wait a minute, who do I think I am?
Absolutely.
And not at all should I have tried to take all this glory upon myself, and I should never have thought that I was higher than who I actually am. Because guess what? No matter what I'm doing, even if I think it's perfect, it's my righteousness ain't nothing but filthy rags anyway.
Yeah.
And no matter how high I go, I am always going to be at his feet.
Absolutely.
Period.
Oh, I love that.
So,
that's a great way of putting it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I love how you put that. And my next question after that then would be, how has the walk with the Lord evolved to where it is now? Because you said he wanted to get your attention. So, okay, he got your attention. So what does it look like now?
Yeah. I I read in a devotional recently that God doesn't reward visibility, he rewards faithfulness. And I think that's just a great way of describing the season that I'm in, because there's so much to be said for visibility, especially in today's day and age. Got to build a brand for yourself, got to post consistently. You need to get your name out there so that people can see. And even in the real estate, in the real estate realm, people need to know that you're in real estate so that they can reach out to you for their real estate needs. So it's like there's so much to be said about visibility. except in the kingdom. That's not that can't be the goal. That should never be the goal because he has a way of taking you into the secret places, the places where nobody sees, but the faithfulness is rewarded in front of everybody regardless of whether or not you did the thing in front of everybody. So I think that is kind of where I'm at and what I'm walking through, and it's a daily thing. It's a daily humility that you have to take on, that it's like it's not about being on that big stage anymore, especially coming from such a big stage. It's not about being on that stage anymore. It's not about everything that came with that. This is about, are you going to do what the Lord has called you to do in the way that He's called you to do it? Yes or no? It doesn't really get more complicated than that, but I think it's a great way of kind of reminding myself that this is the journey that you're on now, is that it's not about the visibility, it's about the faithfulness.
100%. It absolutely is. So you brought up secret place. I want to take us to a scripture. Actually,
Yeah.
that's a great moment to bring up a scripture. Actually, this is Matthew 6:6. But when you pray, go away by yourself, shut the door behind you, and pray to your Father in private. Then your Father who sees everything will reward you. That is Matthew 6:6.
Oh,
And
wow.
we can take a look at some of the other translations there. So that was the NLT that I just read, which gives you a lot more of the meaning for meaning.
Right.
And so if you want to go more kind of the word for word, you have like the New American Standard. So that says, but as for you, when you pray, go into your inner room. So I guess that'd be your closet, your inner room, close your door, and pray to your Father who is in secret, and your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. So yeah, that secret place is serious.
Yeah.
Like that's actually sacred, and that comes from Jesus. Those words came out of His mouth.
Wow.
So truly, what you just said was really important about the faithfulness and not the visibility, which is it's kind of odd because in this individualistic society,
Yeah.
you're trying to be as visible as possible
Right.
to build your brand.
Yeah.
And as an athlete, that's really what NIL is right there.
Absolutely.
Like I want to be visible.
Yeah.
Like my name, image, and likeness can now be monetized
Yep.
legally.
Yep.
So I need to be visible. Yeah, I mean, wow. I mean, how do you think an athlete can balance that though? Because like NIL can bring about life-changing money.
Yeah.
But then also there is the humility aspect where, hey, I still need to make sure I'm serving the Lord and I'm not reversing that order, right? I'm not putting myself on the throne where He should be sitting.
Absolutely. Honestly, I don't even think it is a balance. I think even the attempt at trying to balance it, you're on the wrong side of it. I mean, he even says, like, seek first the kingdom and everything else will be added to you. Like, it's not like he doesn't want these athletes to succeed and build their brands and make this life-changing money. Like, he wants that for you. He wants this abundance for you, just like you want it for yourself. He just wants you to do it in the right order. And a lot of times that's less work. I think I'm discovering like it literally is less work to just depend on Him, seek Him first. And like it's like the path starts to light up, It's like rather than you even having to figure out what's next and what you're supposed to do and who you're supposed to reach out to and what deal is a good deal versus a bad deal. Like just seek Him. He I promise He will reveal it. Like He will reveal it. And if He doesn't, then just wait on it, pray on it, But as long as you're seeking Him and then listening for that answer and not, getting too distracted with all of the other pieces that there are to it, I think you can't go wrong, I mean, he's like I said, he's not a God that wants you to fail, he wants this success for you like you want it yourself. There's just a way to go about it. There is a right way to go about it.
Yeah, for sure. And as the Lord lit your path, what was the path that He lit that led to real estate?
Yeah. I mean, I think it was these injuries. So my career and Kingston's career both ended due to injury. And they didn't necessarily have to end, but I blew out my knee, ACL, MCL, meniscus, year one at Tennessee, came back the next year and did it again to my other knee. So ACL, MCL, meniscus, like blew out both knees. And at that point, there's such a higher risk of doing it again. I know some athletes that got right back in it, but I already didn't love basketball that way. I just knew I was good at it and good enough to get where I was trying to go. So, I kind of used it for what it was worth. But after both of those
Mm,
injuries, I was like, I'm done. I have a master's degree. At that point, I was in school getting my PhD on scholarship. It's like who's even heard of not having to pay for a PhD? So I kind of milked it for what it was worth. And then Kingston the same way, got his degree, finished due to injury. And at that point, we were kind of thinking like, we're accustomed to this athlete lifestyle. We know that this is what we want for our lives, but we know regular jobs don't get people there. So it's like how realistically the thought process was, how can we stay on par with our pro teammates and live that lifestyle without having to break down our bodies like we have been for so long? And the answer was real estate. And so as we started looking more into investing in real estate and helping people buy and sell real estate, we actually had lunch with a realtor in Knoxville who encouraged us, just go ahead and get your license and learn the business from the inside out. Because realistically, at the time, we didn't have the capital, we didn't have the money to be able to become real estate investors right out of college. So we're like, okay, perfect. We will learn this business from the inside out. And then by the time we have the money, it's going to help us accumulate the money to become investors. And by the time we have that money, we will also have all of this knowledge to be able to invest in real estate in a strategic way. But the thing was, as we went through that process and started learning about what it means to invest in real estate and the different ways to invest in real estate, we were like, wait a second, this is a little bit too easy, and I don't think any of our teammates know this. So we're like, how
mm,
can we bridge that gap of knowledge between the teammates that we know are making the money, they just don't know what to do with it, and the like bridge it between the teammates who have the money and the kind of mystical I guess, mystery around investing in real estate because everybody feels like it's so far off. And, that's not for me. That's for them to do. I don't really know what that means. And it's like, well, you can. Like we can bridge this gap to teach and educate our communities on how to be able to do this to build wealth, not just for themselves, but generational, for their families and their children and their children's children. Like this is an absolute game changer. And this is something that other people have been doing for years and years and years, for generations. That's how they have generational wealth is from investing in real estate. But it's like, why not us? So I think as we started learning these things, Kingston and I really just became passionate about sharing it, just sharing this knowledge, which birthed Athletic Capital Group, which is the company that we run. And the premise, the mission is to help athletes to build wealth beyond their performance. Because at the end of the day, you can't perform forever. You can't play forever. It's going to end one day, whether you choose it to end or whether you don't, like us with injuries. So, what are you putting in place right now to be able to sustain you afterwards? Because I think the thing that a lot of people don't get is you don't, if you played pro or even college at this point with the money they're making, if you've played for a long enough time, you should never have to get a job. Like you should never, ever have to work in your life if you make the right moves to set yourself up to live that life. But if you just spend it all while you're in college, then it's like, okay, well then I guess you're gonna have to go work. But I really feel like nobody should have to work. If you know these steps and put them into action with our help or without our help, you should never have to work. And I feel like that's really the goal. People just don't feel like it's attainable for them.
mm. That's very interesting because it definitely feels like you said, it's real estate investment is for a certain group of people. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's an over there thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really worried about that. I'm worried about just getting my house.
Yes.
That
Yes.
kind of deal. Why do you think that is though?
If we really want to get into it, I think it's
Let's do it.
historical. I think there's a lot of history behind it. I mean, Black people in general were just denied access to this information, and I think it's just kind of perpetuated this fear around investing in real estate, which I think is purposeful, not to benefit us, but to hurt us. And I think that same fear has been passed down generation to generation, where it's like, I'll just get mine and for me and my family, and this is all we need. Like we're okay. But I beg to differ. I mean, we literally we have the script, so let's just run the play. We have the playbook now, let's just run the play. But you have to be willing to learn what this play looks like. I mean, it literally is just like athletics, which is why I felt like it was so important for us to break it down like a play and teach it to athletes because if you can learn all of these plays in this playbook, then like in an athletic playbook, then you can learn this real estate play and run it yourself for you and your family.
That's a great analogy. That is a great analogy. How can an athlete link up with you guys and learn this information?
Oh, yeah. So you can reach out to us. I mean, we are big on social media, so you can DM us, or our contact info is on social media too, at Athletic Capital Group, or my page is at Keyen Noel, and Kingston's is Kingston Harris _. Or our website, athleticcapitalgroup.com. We have a starter playbook that just kind of breaks down the initial basics of investing in real estate. What does it mean to invest in real estate? Who is this for? Which answers everyone. And then what are the next steps? Because we work with athletes in a range of different places. We work with athletes who have been playing overseas for a couple of years. They built a little bit of money. We work with, NFL, WNBA athletes just from Kingston and I, our immediate circles. We work with current college athletes. We just helped a Lady Vols softball player purchase her first home during her senior year in college, which is like unheard of. So, I mean, this is for everyone. High school athletes that are making crazy money now. This is for everyone. But yeah, we are all over socials, and you can visit our website, athleticcapitalgroup.com, to be able to get connected and just learn the next step. And it's really going to be something similar to this. It'll be a one-on-one conversation to see where are you at? What are you looking to do? What are your goals? And how can we be a resource to help you get there?
That's amazing. Yeah, I really like the mission when I read about it, but I now that I'm hearing you speak on it, I mean, this is something that I think is too good for any athlete to pass up.
Absolutely. I mean, it's current athletes, it's retired athletes. Like, it really does not matter where you're at. You can get there. You can get there. We just need to figure out what your goal is and make a plan to be able to bridge A to B.
Yeah, that's it. Just bridge A to B. Keyen, thank you so much for your time. I got one more question for you. Yeah. We ask this to most of our guests. What is something that you feel like the Lord is telling you right now? And I think specifically, this is what I feel in my heart, specifically as you get ready to step into a season of marriage, what do you think the Lord has really put on your heart to kind of prepare you for that season?
That's a good one. I think, and I really think this has kind of been the theme, is the humility. I think marriage takes a lot of humility. It takes a lot of admitting when you're wrong and being willing to reconcile so that you don't have, bad days. You're not going to bed angry. But I think that takes two people who are willing to humble themselves to get on the same page to move forward, which hasn't necessarily been my strong suit, but I think he's working on me. So I think that's a big thing. And then also I think that humility carries into the business because, we're working with high profile athletes. We're working with big amounts of money. We're working in an industry where, it's uncapped how much you can make. It's just however much you hustle is how much you can make. But I think just like in basketball, it can kind of blur that vision. So I think just staying humble about why we're doing what we're doing and continuing to remind myself that this was never you. This was never you that came up with this idea, that gave the success that you have, that brought the networks that you have. Like, it was never me. So it's just continuing to stay humble, to give him all of the glory for all of it at all times.
Amazing. I can tell you right now, I've been married 2 years and some change. Definitely takes humility.
Yeah.
It takes over communication.
Yes.
And it takes humility. I give this advice to everybody that is a believer and is getting married. I would say anytime there's a problem, look at the spirit behind the problem. So it's never going to be you versus Kingston.
Right.
It is you and Kingston versus the problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the spirit behind it. And so sometimes you can see a situation and say, well, this is me versus him. Like, no. It's you and him versus the pride behind whatever this is.
Absolutely.
Or It could be something else of like
Yeah.
anger,
Or the
the
selfishness,
strife,
or yeah, all of those
right?
things.
The
Yeah,
selfishness, right? Those things can be the spirit behind whatever the problem is. But because you guys are one, this needs to be you two as a unit going against that instead
definitely.
of you two butting heads, even though it's very natural
Hmm.
to be like, we're just gonna butt
Yeah,
heads. And so that's helped us. I mean, look, I'm only 2 years in this thing. You know, I've got, you know, friends who've been married for 10 years. You know, of course, I've got mentors been married for 20 plus
yeah.
years. Her parents have been married for 35 years,
Oh
something like
yeah,
that. You know, just, you know what I mean? And so like
definitely.
that's a regular practice. And so that's my usual advice for sure, like in the early stages, because it's an adjustment. Like
For sure.
going from dating to engaged to married, yes, it's the same person, but we continue to grow and we continue to evolve as we get older.
Yeah,
And it's just a consistent learning and intentionally choosing that person every
absolutely.
day. And so, yeah, that would be my advice. But absolutely, I love what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
And best of luck to you guys. I'm sure the wedding is going to be absolutely stunning.
It's gonna be a big old party, that's for sure.
Yeah, that is for sure. Where's that green key the team gave you after your injury?
Honestly, it's in my room. I still have it in
Oh,
no, in my office. It's in my office. It's sitting on my little cart that I have with all my office supplies. It's sitting over there.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember when that happened. I was like, that was
Yeah,
cool.
it
That was a
was. It was an awesome
nice
gesture.
idea.
Definitely.
Yeah, it was really cool. Thank you so much, Keyen, for your time today. It was really cool to catch up and talk with a Lady Vol.
Yeah.
You guys, like I said, you guys were always awesome when I was over there, and you guys opened up your practices, and you guys were very honest and transparent in any interview, and I really appreciate you coming on here and chopping it up with me for a little bit.
Definitely. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. And thank you to everybody that was listening or watching, wherever you were listening or watching, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Remember, hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button if you enjoyed this conversation. We do this thing every single Wednesday, and we going to keep on going. We're approaching 2 years. We're approaching 100 episodes, y'all.
Whoop, whoop.
100. That's crazy. 100 episodes. So thank you guys so much for what you guys have already done. If you enjoyed this, like button. Leave a comment if there's anything that touched you, and then share this with a family member or a friend, because we believe one share can change a life, and it helps people get the word that folks are preaching on this platform. So thank you guys again, and until we see you next week, if it is God's will, be blessed.